What is going on, everybody? My name is Danny K. This is Danny K Crypto, and with another exciting episode, or absolutely riveting episode of Blockchain Breakdown, where we break down a blockchain in 10 minutes or less. Today, I think the name of the show is a little bit misleading because we are going to be talking about a project that doesn't really actually have a blockchain. You may have heard of it. It's called IOTA, or the Internet of Things. It is a little bit different and runs a little bit different than your traditional Bitcoin or Ethereum with the miners and blockchain protocols. But without further ado, let me go ahead and just get right into it. So what is IOTA? Essentially, IOTA is an open source distributed ledger. It's focused on providing secure communications and payments between machines on the Internet of Things using a DAG, or directed acyclic graph technology. Well, it's also called a Tangle, using that technology instead of a traditional blockchain. IOTA's transactions are free regardless of the size of the transaction, and confirmation times are much faster than your traditional blockchain type ledgers. The number of transactions the system can handle simultaneously is unlimited, and the system can allegedly easily scale. What is IOTA's whole goal? What are they trying to solve? Well, they basically want to provide a scalable and secure solution to communicate and transact payments between machines and people on the Internet of Things by using the Tangle, or the directed acyclic graph, or DAG. In order for the Tangle or DAG to be validated, one transaction must approve two previous transactions or sites. So those two confirmed transactions are chosen via an algorithm to then confirm the new unconfirmed transaction, as well as that the new transaction also needs to do a little bit of proof of work and solve a little bit of a cryptographic puzzle. Once that is done successfully and accurately, the transaction is then made, validated, and published. This functionality of the Tangle allows them to eliminate the need for miners completely within the network, and the node essentially governs and mines itself. This basically results in a drastic reduction in transaction cost, in fact, making transaction cost all the way to zero. And this is very helpful in the sense that, let's say, for Bitcoin, you send a transaction, you want to move some money from one wallet to another, but you put too little of a fee during a high transaction, or a high transaction time. That transaction can sit there almost indefinitely until essentially it gets rejected and sent back if you don't have enough money to pay the miners, because the miners aren't incentivized to run such a cheap, poorly funded transaction. Whereas with IOTA and the Tangle, there are no miners that have a preference to get more money or less money, and that the Tangle and the DAG basically self-mines itself. So with it running itself, it does not need to have any type of transaction fees to incentivize itself to run. So with essentially eliminating the cost of transaction fees, IOTA claims that it has somewhat solved the scaling problem, and also solved the major problem of network delays due to blockage and congestion, much like we saw back in 2017 when the Bitcoin network was super congested and the fees were a mile high. That won't happen with IOTA, thus making it much easier to scale. That, plus the way that it confirms transactions by using two previously confirmed transactions, drastically cuts down on transaction times and also helps with the scaling issue. So what are some historical events in the world of IOTA? Well, IOTA was first founded and started development in mid-2015 and was not launched or listed on any exchange until June of 2017. And then in August of 2017, the IOTA Foundation was officially formed as the nonprofit focused on IOTA development and building up partnerships with people that wanted to use and work with the technology. Then in September 7th of 2017, unfortunately, the Digital Currency Initiative team at MIT Media Labs announced a very large security vulnerability in IOTA's curl protocol that basically allowed for forged signatures to be transmitted through the transactions, thus jeopardizing the integrity of the network. However, on the bright side, the vulnerability was quickly patched up with help from the IOTA development team and the MIT Media Labs team before the report was released and announced to the public. Then, in fantastic news, in September of 2018, IOTA and Volkswagen announced a new partnership with the car manufacturer, wanting to work closely with IOTA and its technology to learn how they could integrate IOTA's technology into their cars and start building out that Internet of Things network. Then, in September of 2019, IOTA launches the Industry Marketplace, the first autonomous and decentralized virtual market that aims to accelerate industrial automation and commercial machine interactions between humans and machines. And that about does it in pretty quick summary and synopsis of IOTA. It is an interesting little project, in my opinion. I unfortunately am not a coder or have the ability to kind of audit a code well enough to understand whether or not the Tangle is as good of a technology or as secure of a technology as, the standard blockchain protocol. But what about you? What are your thoughts? What do you think about IOTA? Do you think that it's going to create or help create the Internet of Things and it's going to be used in a lot of our daily lives? Or do you think that the Tangle is not as secure as something like a blockchain, and thus, companies are going to end up not wanting to work with it because of those security vulnerabilities? Please leave your comments and your thoughts down below. If you found this video entertaining or educational, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And always, if you have a video if you have a coin that you would like me to review, let me know, write it in the comments, and I will add it to my list of coins to get to. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. My name is Danny K. This was Blockchain Breakdown, and I will see you in the next one.